Hey Stitching family, this is Sylvia with Running with Needles and Scissors. We're trying not to, we have the giggles, so we're trying to keep it together. It is June 1st.
Already. Where's the year going?
And this is my special guest, Lisa. And yeah, we have, I'll explain our connection. So I'm visiting her in Virginia. And we met at the cash register, spending all our money at the attic summer school 2 years ago.
2019.
2019.
Can't believe it's been that long already.
I know. And so we hit it off. And I don't know anybody that can't hit it off with Lisa. So anyways, so here we are. And I just wanted to introduce her to you. I've talked about her, and if you go back and watch my first video and probably the third or fourth video,
something like that.
Yeah, we have a very interesting connection, Lisa and I won't go over it now. All right, here's a kitty cat. Sorry. Anyways, so we decided since I was in DC, I would come up and hang out for a couple days with her, and then American changed my flight. And so I get to stay a day longer.
Yay!
Yeah, because they couldn't get me home the way I had it booked because the flight canceled. So now I'm flying out of Virginia, and it's a little longer, but I'm ready to go. Not because I want to go home, but
She has to.
Well, and I was going to say I'm COVID negative, so I'm tested and all cleared.
All that's take. You've got your flying papers.
Yeah, I got my flying papers. So tomorrow morning at the crack of before dawn, I start my journey home. But we thought we'd make a floss tube together. Now Lisa's home is filled with treasures. It is so much fun to walk around, and I discover new things all the time. And I found some places where she hides stash. Yeah, and so I was looking at that. He's gone. Your husband's gone.
It has evolved out of my sewing room into various little crevices in the house.
That's right. But she is a fabulous stitcher. And when we were talking about doing a floss tube, we were looking at some things that we could show. And the pile kept growing. Now we took it back off, some of the stuff, but I think you've done just about every Mary Cox piece that
pretty much
was done. So we got a few of those here, and and her house is just filled with treasures and nooks and crannies and on the walls, and you come around the corner, you're like, there's so much. Anyways, and we just went to visit your mom, and I found there's a couple of nice beautiful pieces of stitching at your mom's, yeah. So, but I promised that I would show what I stitched for Lisa.
To show it?
Yeah. So this is the piece
great.
I designed and stitched for Lisa. It's called, I've named it Heart to Heart, and our initials are on the back. And so my house is, there we go.
In Germany.
Is the grayish white. That's what I have. I didn't quite know what Lisa's house was. I didn't ask her. But anyways, here I am, waving at her across
German
the ocean.
flower.
Right. And in Germany, you always bring flowers when you visit somebody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's my flower?
Yeah, there's your flower. And she's over here waving over the ocean. We've got a little bit of over one. I'm going to come closer. And, here's
a lot
her house.
of over one.
Yeah. So I put a little fish and a little whale and a little mermaid. And there's Finding Nemo right there. So this represents the ocean. And, so I designed this myself and sort of freehanded a few things, and
it's great. Oh, I was so touched. And Sylvia had it wrapped inside of a beautiful stitching bag that she made for me, a project pack. So, treasures.
So anyways, so that's what I stitched for Lisa, called Heart to Heart.
And she made me look like a colonial woman.
I did.
Because I live in Toano, Virginia, right outside of Colonial Williamsburg.
Right.
So there's a lot of history here in what they call the historic triangle between Williamsburg, Jamestown, and Yorktown.
Yep. Anyway, so that's my expression of our friendship to Lisa.
Gonna miss you, girl.
Yep. So let's find out a little bit more about you.
Okay.
Enough about me.
Here we go.
More about you. So I know Lisa's been stitching for a very long time.
Because I'm old.
Well, I'll get in there. So tell me a little bit more about who taught you, how you got into it, and you still have that first piece you stitched.
I do.
And it's finished.
The first piece of cross stitch I still have.
Right.
It is stitched but not finished into anything. Okay. I never remember not doing some kind of handwork or needlework. My grandmother on my paternal grandmother, was very much into needlepoint, and she was always putting a needle in my hand to fill in a few stitches on her needlepoint or surface embroidery or crewel work. And I will say that I'm not one of those stitchers that has a whole huge pile of UFOs. I do have a enormous pile of stash, but I tend to finish my pieces, and I think that's because my grandmother. I'm not a monogamous stitcher.
Here, hold that. You keep talking.
My grandmother
deal with the wind chime.
Would choose things out of like the Lee Ward's catalog, and we could pick a few things we wanted to stitch, and then she would add extra things like those sequin Christmas ornaments and things like that. And we could come, when the order arrived, we could come and pick one, and then when we finished it, we could come and select something else. So she wasn't going to dole out anything else from her box of stitching goodness to us until we completed something. So that's what I really attribute my early stitching to. So then let's fast forward to about 1979, 1980. I went to Villanova University to earn my bachelor's in nursing, and I was working as a private duty nursing assistant, and my little lady that I was taking care of would take a nap every afternoon. So I had a few hours that I could just do something. So one day I had picked up an embroidery kit to do, and when the little lady went to sleep, out I pull my embroidery kit, only to find the fabric was blank. It wasn't stamped, and I thought, oh my goodness, I have a factory reject. So, since I'd already read all of her magazines and junk mail and everything else, I decided to do what I rarely do, is read the instructions, only to find out that it's counted cross-stitch. Well, I was totally hooked. Totally hooked after that. I became a cross-stitcher. Now, this one pretty much reflects what was available at the time. I think it was a dimensions kit. Hey, actually on camera it doesn't look too bad. It's on a very soft Aida, and I think it was stitched with flower thread. But that was my piece. I really should do something with it after all these years.
That's really sweet.
I graduated nursing school 39 years ago, and so this was when I was still in school during the summer working as the nursing assistant. So anyway, that was my start. I remember the first kit that I bought from a real cross-stitch store was from the Strawberry Sampler in Chadsworth, Pennsylvania at the time.
My lip was like,
and I couldn't believe that I was spending $20 on a kit. Well, all that's changed. That's way easy to do now. So that changed for the positive.
Yeah. So now we're like, ooh. We can't even talk about.
So that's my early start of stitching.
Yeah, and that was like 39 years ago. Is what you're saying? Is when you
more than that, because I've been out of school for 39 years. Okay. So it was when over 40 years ago of starting to cross stitch. So awesome. Over the years, I love to take classes whenever I can. I love to engage in stitch-alongs. I've been pretty good with those lately. Usually they're start-alongs for me. But I've been doing the Morrison stitch-along from Traditional Stitches in Canada.
I should go get that. Hold on.
Oh, boy. And I've also been doing the iStitch Jade Sampler right now, and I'm not up to date with that right now because Sylvia was here, and we intended on stitching, but we've really been doing more talking and laughing than stitching, but we've stayed up till the wee hours of the night trying to stitch.
Here we go. I'm back.
Okay, so here we have Ann Morrison.
I was watching her stitch last night as I was painfully putting in, my 10 stitches. She like finished the bird.
May is finished, and I'm starting on June, and then I did continue down further because I wanted to get all my boundaries, and now that all this eyelet business is almost finished, I think it'll be a lot easier.
Right here,
all
and
eyelet,
this one,
alphabet,
and this one, right?
There was a few more areas of eyelets, but once I conquered that hurdle, it was monumental.
So do you have the color pattern? Is that somewhere?
Yes, here is my Ann Morrison.
So so here's the heart. So she's got all that done up here. That's finished.
So there we go.
Her stitching is so beautiful.
And
and
then
here's your eye stitch band.
Here's my eye stitch
I think I grabbed
band.
the right one, right?
I like sheep. I'm a fan
Yes,
of the Shepherd's Bush Retreat. So sad that it was moved to 22, but hey, you have to do what you have to do. So this was current as far as until last week. What came, the new one from last Friday, I have not stitched yet.
And you have not unrolled this since you started, so it's going to stay that way. We're not unrolling it.
I'm so excited to see it at the end.
Yeah.
I'm delaying gratification.
Right, right.
Something I have a hard time doing.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So there you go.
And then we also have, well, we'll get this and then we'll start on some of your pieces. So Lisa is the person I'm stitching the berry bowl sampler with. And my pace was 1 basket a week. Lisa's pace was different. Get it done. So Lisa's is done, mine isn't. But this is where I am. And so I have these two, and Lisa's there. We were looking at it. Oh yeah, we can't get all of it in there.
Snuggle.
We do like this, like this. This is the professional. Yeah, snuggle. There we go. Now it's in there. Okay, but it's funny that we have some dye lot differences. So ours looks a little slightly different. She's got my initials in there already, and before I pack it all up, I'm going to make her stitch her initials on the same side.
I can do that.
Yeah. So and then I'll take it back home and still continue on the 1 basket a week. And this is on the is yours 36?
Mine's, yeah, it's
okay.
36.
Yeah,
it was a collaboration piece between Scarlet House and Heartstring Samplery, and it was stitched on 2 different pieces of linen.
Right.
And I think the intent was that they were joined afterwards, but when we first started stitching this, I had no idea that Sylvia would be visiting me right now. So we just attached our own pieces. Honestly, I think it would be easiest to attach it
before you start.
Before you start, because that little center cartouche is
mine looks so much smaller.
A wee bit challenging.
Maybe I'm.
One thing that's great about this sampler is not only is it a beautiful array of berry bowls, but it really can serve as a encyclopedia of berry bowl designs.
Right.
I used one to stitch my EGA badge.
Isn't that cute?
So,
and look at the fabric she chose. Let's go closer so people can see it. So, super. She's such a. Anyways, she does such a nice job. So there's that one, and it's funny that this is the first basket I stitched. I didn't know she had done this on for her name tag, but this is the first basket I stitched on that.
I did mine last
berry
October.
Bowl.
And it's funny, you know, and I started my berry bowl, in January?
Right. And so when I showed her where I was, she's like, I stitched that for my first berry bowl. She said she stitched that. And so I was like, yeah, we always laugh about the common thread that connects
it's crazy.
us. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. Now, what are some of your favorite designers that you like? Like, what do you collect some designers because you're never going to get around to stitching all of it. But, what is the one where... Yeah, of course. Don't we all... I'd start them, but that's where we end.
Favorite designers, well, I don't really want to leave anybody out. I hope I don't. But it seems like Blackbird is very, very popular with everybody. I do stitch a lot of Blackbirds. I love stitching Mary Cox when I have an opportunity to take a Mary Cox class. Sherry Jones, she's just retired, but I've done a lot of Sherry Jones pieces. Jackie Duplessis, Shepherd's Bush. I just love the creativity of Shepherd's Bush and just how fun they are. I mean, it's just fun pieces to stitch. Very doable.
So do you want to start with Shepherd's Bush and
sure.
Well, you have the one piece.
Oh, the piece that's one of my favorite pieces.
What her favorite pieces were, or amongst her favorite pieces, because she says she has a lot of them, but this one.
Well, also, Plum Street is another very favorite designer of mine. Okay, hope you can see it. This was Shepherd's Bush, Emmanuel's song. It's kind of long.
You talk about it, and I'll
kind of long. And it has the first verse of Emmanuel's song.
Look at the fine, oopsie, sorry. Specialty stitches in there.
And Shepherd's Bush really, really explains their stitches so well. The pattern is always multi-page pattern, but they really explain the stitches quite well. So
talk about why. Yeah, why?
Okay, I have so many favorites, and one thing, the beauty of stitching is, I think with everybody with the last year of COVID, who knows how we would be if we didn't have our stitching. Our stitching really saved our life during COVID. But Emmanuel's song I stitched in honor of my dad. He has now since passed, but he was alive when I stitched this. And I just have such fond memories of during the Advent season, sitting around the table with our Advent candles, and my dad would sing Emmanuel's song. And he had a very deep voice, and of course we're all wanting to scatter after dinner, and my dad's, nope, wait, we have to sing.
Sing, yeah.
And so he would sing Emmanuel's song. So that's just
precious.
one of my favorites, but that's such the beauty.
And she's so diligent. She noted what this piece meant to her and why, what the memory is on the back, on the label.
So that's the beauty of stitching, is that, oh my gosh, there's so many of our pieces that can be our favorites because they really reflect the holiday, the time, the vacation, the troubles we were trying to overcome when we stitched that piece.
Right.
So it is very difficult to choose a favorite. Oh, and I just love Scarlet House.
Oh, so
and I've been like going on and on with all my favorites.
Yeah. Okay, so here's another shepherd's bush. This is what are these called?
I forget what they were called, but it was a monthly, they called it the Fold. Years ago, Shepherd's Bush used to do a monthly club. It was kind of well before there was really stitching clubs. But they would do this. It was called, each month they would send you a month to stitch. And years ago, I have stitched them all. I think it used to be exclusive.
Right.
The first month they sent us the frame and the first kit, and then every month after for a year we received another piece to stitch. So being that this is June 1st,
right, we
need to switch it out.
That's right. So she's going to pop that one out, and while she does that, I'm going to hand you this. I'm going to show the others a little bit.
Here's May.
Here's May. So that goes in front. So we have them stored here, and it just gets switched out. So the next month is so fun. July. I love that firecracker. These go pretty quick.
Oh, they're fun. They're fun.
You've just got them laced on
a
little bit of foam core.
Foam core.
August. So fun. September. Oopsie. And there's always a special button, but that comes with the chart, correct?
Yes, it came with it. I think they have releases. Again, this was stitched years ago.
Yeah, they're available. I have a couple of them unstitched.
Look at that October.
That's funny. That is funny. October with the mummy. I gotta keep them in order.
November
is this way. Oh, maybe September was this way too. So you got the. What is that? The button, the cornucopia or something?
Corn. I think.
Oh, corn. It's native corn. Yep. There it is. Okay, keeping them in order. December. So sweet. There we go. Ugh. January. January's always my favorite. I do appreciate snowmen.
I do too.
That's really sweet.
Living in Virginia, we don't, at least where we live in Virginia, there's not a whole lot of snow, but I still love it.
Yeah. February, also a favorite month because I love hearts. Those are pretty colors. We're almost there. Oh. March. Pot of gold. Yeah, pot. I love his hair. He's like, woo! Leprechaun.
He's cute.
And here we go. April. Oh, how sweet. The chickies with their umbrella. And May we've seen, and show June.
And here's June.
June. All ready to go.
With the bees and the bee skip. Really fun little pieces. And I mean, a lot of designers offer monthly series.
Right.
And it's a really fun way to decorate simply for a holiday. I tend to stitch with the holiday instead of for the holiday. So what I mean by that is at Christmas, of course I do finish some projects for Christmas, but at Christmas I like to have a special Christmas project that I'm working on at Christmas that I'm never expecting to be completed for that Christmas.
Okay, and we have one more shepherd's bush.
Then this is another thing that Shepherd's Bush does. I have this in my cloche.
And I have the same
from
one.
Hobby Lobby.
And the Hobby Lobby, because from Hobby Lobby. Mine is empty.
Okay, well, Shepherd's Bush has something that they call Trifles. And they have kits. A little bit more. I don't want to flop them out.
Yeah, I'll hold them. There we go.
They call them Trifles. And you can buy the individual charts, or what I do is I just buy the whole kit. And it's usually three little pillows,
right?
designs. And I think they all pretty much stay to the same size. It might vary a little bit, I forget. So here's the ones for the patriotic holidays. And since we just had Memorial Day, I had these out. This one's free. And this one says, it says Grand Old Flag, Long May She Wave. And these are just filled with the crushed walnut shells.
Right, and it's 32 count that you're stitching on, or what are you stitching on?
I don't know. I think it changes with what they do.
And you get the kit,
the
right?
whole. I buy the kit. You
Yeah.
can just buy the chart option, but this way, I don't have a local needlework shop anymore, so it's great. It just comes with everything, and actually, they send full packs of beads, so you can do other things. They even send the backing fabrics. It's perfect. It's all there to do.
You know what would look good in here? Is that little eagle that I bought. That little black
But that's for you at home.
I know.
Oh boy.
I'm saying that would look really good.
I'm sure I can find something.
Yeah, so one of the things you do, well, we'll see it when we open this stuff up, is she puts a lot of little extras into her little
crazy.
Kit, you know, the like the finished Mary Cox piece into the carrier, or the oops, my name, that's gone. Box.
Shaker box.
Shaker box, yeah. So you open it up and there's not only the treasures that go with the actual kit, but also little extra things. And I was looking through all of it.
It becomes obsessive. It's kind of crazy.
I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how she does all that.
Fun.
But let's talk about then Mary Cox.
Okay.
So this is 2008.
And that's when we were both at Shepherd's Bush.
Our paths crossed. We just didn't know it.
Right.
So mine is, well, you know in what condition mine is in. It's not done. But she's very diligent. She finishes her things. So this is so sweet. This is, what is this called?
I forget what that was
called.
Blue
Blossoms.
Sweet Blossom. I think the name is stitched on one of the needle.
Okay, we'll look at it. So it came with this really interesting. You had to sew it.
Suede
piece of fabric,
like
suede like bag, velvet suede almost like. And here comes the box. Little scrim. That's also, she always went for. I didn't buy my scrimshaw. I regret that now. So
this was called Sweet Little Blossoms.
There you go.
Sweet Little Blossoms.
Okay, so shall we tilt it?
Sure.
Just to see, okay, so that's...
So everything fits in here. Mm-hmm. And Mary Cox always is so poetic and romantic.
Yeah, so I'll hold it so that...
So this is the little case.
Show the back?
I will.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot that I can't. The picture of my husband in his hula skirt.
Oh. She puts all kinds of stuff in her.
So thrilled with that. So, Sweet Little Blossoms, Colorful Bee, All My Love I Give to Thee. And this is in 2008. I think that's the year we went to Hawaii. In here is a picture of my husband in a hula skirt.
You don't have to show it. You don't have to show it.
But I don't think he'll want. It was hilarious. So this was the scissor case. And I just put a little plug on the end. This is the needle case. And Mary is so into personalizing everything. So on the back she has Precious Loves. And it has my husband's initials and my two children, my two grown children.
You have a boy and a girl.
My daughter is 29 and lives in Germany. And my son is 26 and lives in New York. And so here's the little needle case. But I think this is what Sylvia was talking about, is how I find other things to apply to my pieces. This holds a tiny little scrimshaw ruler up here. But this little tag that says forever, I took that out of a piece of clothes. My whatever clothing it was, or my daughter had it had this little forever tag on the inside as the label, and I took it out and put it in my needle case to hold the scrimshaw.
That's really sweet, yeah.
I have another one that says George and Martha that I put on the back of a George Washington thing that Paulette did.
The Paulette did, yeah. Okay.
So here we have the little pin disc, stitched by Lisa Duffin in the year 2008. Really fun. Mary's finishing directions are perfect. And then, I don't know if you can see this, there's a little tag inside the box.
Right.
That personalizes it. But then, of course, I had to take it one more step, and I found a little doily that fit in the bottom. Have some thread that matches the color of the box, and then made a little, I think they call them aid memoir.
Right?
Made a little aid memoir, which
so to help you remember.
Needing more and more these days. And then there's a little shepherd's bush needle minder.
And there's this little thing.
And our little thread that's just a charm.
Yeah.
But I don't know why that ribbon's there. I was probably going to do something.
Charm in there, and that was one of the charms we got at the
retreat.
At the retreat, yeah.
I need to polish that. And then this was a little extra thread palette that we could buy there.
Which I didn't do. Much to my regret.
So there you have it. That's the Mary Cox piece.
One of the Mary Cox pieces. Little blossoms. No.
Sweet little blossoms. Sweet little blossoms.
All right, let me put it in the other way. Then here's a fabulous.
This piece is called the Sailor's Huswif. And I've seen that. I wanted to show this because I've seen this a lot recently on Facebook. I think our sampler years was asking for nautical things, nautical pictures.
This is a beautiful piece of scrimshaw on top.
I bought this from the basket maker.
She made some beautiful
Nantucket baskets, and I bought that scrim. So here you go. This is the whole business of the Sailor's Huswif.
I'll hold it a little bit. There you go. You can see, and there's all kinds of treasures buried
and this
in
is the main. This is the main piece. It unrolls like this. And again, Mary is always so poetic with her pieces. So it says, I gaze to sea each morn and eve, where might thy ship to be, my heart awaits the joyous day, safe journey back to me.
So we were talking about, Mary Cox in classes, and she doesn't teach much anymore. So it's kind of like, if you can grab one. If you can do it, they're fantastic.
And again, her kits are very inclusive, and her finishing directions.
A little closer, because I love the little heart mirror.
There's a little heart mirror in there.
Look at that. So incredible.
So I personalized this for my husband. And these are all little pockets to put little trinkets and sewing things. So that's that. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
This was a little chatelaine that was a part of the kit. Here's a little pocket. And again, Mary's really big on personalizing and getting the provenance of your pieces. So in here I have, buttons. I haven't been in here in a while.
Yeah, there's seeing. Oh yeah, so
buttons.
Just a variety of
and
buttons.
I tried to get nautical buttons. Here's peacoat buttons. Here's some bone buttons. Oh.
There you go.
So it's kind of fun collecting and embellishing these kits when you get them. So on this there was this little chatelaine housed a button bag, a little thimble bucket, and a little fish needle disc, pin disc.
Is that what they're called? Yeah.
A pin, it's not. So,
there's this.
Wait, there's more. Oh, and then there was a little scissor fob. This is just a tiny one on a bone ring. And these scissors, I think these might have been part of the kit. They collapse a different way than collapsible scissors.
Cool.
fold out straight. So they're really straight when they're collapsed.
Very cool.
And this is just ultra suede on the back.
There's more. This is what I found in your little pocket. So there's this, hold on. There's this little pocket. I tried to show it. So there's, yeah, my hand's in the way, but you can see what I'm talking about. And
Again,
so
worked.
There's a little pocket here. And your initials.
And my husband's.
Wait, there's stuff in here, so I'm trying to fish it out without snapping your scrimshaw.
Oh my. So I took this in Williamsburg, Christmas in Williamsburg in 2000. Wow, it's hard to believe that's 21 years ago already.
And then this was in the pocket, your little
This was a little waxer. So this is what Sylvia was talking about, how I always add extras. So these were just buttons, compass buttons. Took some wax and smushed it between them, softened it, and...
So what kind of wax do you use there?
I think this might have been paraffin, but I think beeswax is easier to do.
Right.
So then there's a little box here that again has more of these little treasures that I've collected over the years to add to my kit. So this was a little shaker box that I lined with some of the extra fabric. That's just...
It's hard to show.
It's hard to show. I don't want to dump them.
I gotta come up. So just
guide my hand.
Yeah. So just little bodkins.
That's a fish game piece.
Okay. Yeah. So you can't. It's hard to see. Whoa. Hold on. So I'm trying to get the. Oh, there you go. Here you can see the fish better.
And this is actually a fish bead. So it's kind of fun to find all the little extra things to complement your stitching.
There's more.
So, oh my goodness.
So
I went overboard on that, but it was for my husband.
Right.
I forget where I bought this, but this had the phrase from the back of the
housewife. Right?
Yeah, and I forget what this is called. A bus?
Tongue depressor.
No. It was something that fishermen would use. Busk. If anybody knows what this thing is called, they were typically made out of ivory. This one is not.
Yeah.
But what were they called?
I don't know. Not familiar.
But this little goodie is kind of cute. It's a little magnifying glass.
Oh, too fun. Is that an antique or is it just
No, it looks like one, but it's not.
Okay. We got this fine fella.
Yeah, look at this. This is a needle case. A big fish needle case.
No needles.
No needles in it. Surprising, I'm slacking. And so that's kind of fun. And then
we got this one.
Another needle case. Wow, I can't believe I... And I have to say...
And every box is
pretty
like
much all of my Mary Cox shaker boxes.
She's got all kinds of stuff.
Okay, no needles in this either. But this is another fish case. And not all the things are collected at one time, but, you know, if I would find something now to go in it. Here's a little pewter fish
needle pincushion. And you got their self-defense
and a little bodkin. So, that's what we have.
That's what's in the box? This is all in the box.
I did it. This all fits in the box.
Right. So, that goes in. Your scissor goes in.
So,
and the
over the years, I've been very fortunate to take a lot of classes, but I truly enjoy it. It's always a highlight of my year. It's great to spend time with fellow stitchers, and that's the one thing now that is so great that things are opening up, that we can finally get back to our stitching buddies.
Right. Okay, so we've got one Sherry Jones.
A Sherry Jones piece.
Okay.
This was called Blue Ribbon Sewing Box.
I'm going to drive it closer.
And this was...
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
Again, has a piece of scrimshaw on it. I think this is a maple box. I'm not really sure. I'm not into woodworking. But this was part of the kit.
So it opens up.
It opens up. Woo! Here.
All right. So you see a little bit of scrim up here. We'll pull it all out.
And these are pockets were stitched.
Yep.
A little placement pad for some of your stitching accessories in the front there, and then another pocket here.
Pocket. We'll hold it. We'll tilt it up like this. There you go.
There we go.
So
here's a needle book. It's a little needle book. The front.
So pretty.
And the back.
This is stunning. I mean, all is stunning, but I really love the colors on this one.
And the inside. Little golden needle there. And then a little pin disc.
So sweet. Now, and Sherry Jones has stopped. She's Patrick Woods, and she has stopped teaching altogether, right? She's retired.
I had to add a little saju. But wait, there's more.
There's more?
Some little saju pins, needles.
Right? And then this thing.
A little bodkin. And these were the things that I, again, had to collect. I found these scissors at Hobby Lobby that were just the right color. Right. And then, of course, we made this tiny little strawberry scissor fob dangle.
Do you want to?
That's just a tip for my...
Yeah.
And then here's the inside of the box.
So, and this is the pin cushion
cushion
that sits in the middle. Oh, too close. And mattress finishing and the back. Done in 2012. So, yeah,
so much fun.
Super good about coming home and actually working on her class stuff. I'm super good at filing it away.
And these were the scrim thread winders that were
those
from
are
that
beautiful.
class.
Beautiful.
But you know, I have to say the scrim pieces were always kind of pricey.
Yeah, they are.
But now I'm so glad I got them because you can't sell ivory anymore.
Right, right.
So here we go. That's my Sherry Jones class. Sylvia and I have had a lot of fun opening some of these sewing boxes and things that I really haven't had opened in quite some time.
So I was like, you need to display one a month, you know, just like...
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
So you said Blackbird is one of your favorites, so we pulled one of your Blackbird finishes off the wall. So this is in Friendships... No,
it's in
Everlasting... Everlasting Friendship? Our Never-Ending Friendship?
I think it's called Our Lasting Friendship.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Anyway, this was taught at Shepherd's Bush in 2018. That was the last Shepherd's Bush retreat. And no, this was not taught then.
A little bit. There you go.
I take that back. This was not taught at Shepherd's Bush.
I'm going to tilt it so I can get the glare on.
It was released at Shepherd's Bush retreat.
Here, I have it.
We had a different class that kind of had some selected...
okay, so that's probably...
Our Lasting Friendship, that's it. This was released at Shepherd's Bush, but was not the class back in 18. So I stitched this piece. These were not the Blackbird colors. They were the colors that Shepherd's Bush does some conversions. And if you contact Shepherd's Bush and desire to stitch using their colors, they will give you their conversion if you buy the threads or some of the pieces and parts there for this. Because that's really their property, because they made the conversion.
And you had this framed by Jill
This
Rensel?
was framed by Jill Rensel in Ogden, Utah. And
so it picks up a lot of the colors.
She does the framing for Shepherd's Bush. And up in the center cartouche, I put initials of my friends that I stay with when I go to the Shepherd's Bush retreat. I put a little underline under my initials over here. And then scattered throughout, I put other initials of friends that I travel with to Shepherd's Bush, but we don't room together. So this was a lot of fun to stitch. The Blackbirds, they're just genius.
She has in her bedroom a full wall that it was the
Abecedarian loose feathers
framed individually, and she personalized each one for various family members or families, depending on what she. And it is stunning. And I am trying to convince her to come along and go ahead and start her own FlossTube channel because she has so much to share. You really do. And is you know,
I
next
just
to
have
being
to get
such
the
a
nerve to do it because I'm really kind of nervous.
but you know, such a fun person.
I really am. I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah. So then we have one more, right?
One more. This is we're out on my porch. This is Yuletide Welcome by Paulette Stewart of Plum Street Samplers. This was actually her class kit at Shepherd's Bush a number of years ago when they had a Christmas themed retreat. One thing this was such a joy to stitch. I have everything gathered to stitch the Halloween welcome, and I think I have the chart for her patriotic welcome.
Okay.
But one thing you might take note is in the roof, sometimes people have questions about using what they call fancy floss or over-dyed threads. And actually, how I did the roof, you can see it has a little bit of texture. What I did was this. I counted how many stitches were across, that's heavy, Sylvia.
Yeah, I know.
Was across the roof. I counted how many stitches and found a number it was divisible by. I think it was divisible by 7. I don't really remember anymore. So I stitched the individual roof shingles. I did 7 stitches, 5 stitches, 3 and then 1, and then went and started the next one, and then came back and filled in the roof, doing each shingle individually. So the color fluctuation of the thread you could really manipulate to create a desired effect. I often do that, say I'm stitching a pumpkin or something like that. I don't want it to look striped with the fancy floss. So we can put that down.
Yeah.
Like you're going to kill your arms.
I have sore arms tomorrow.
This trip is not about exercise.
I'm going to be like, what did I do yesterday? My arms hurt so bad.
So, but you can really manipulate the thread. If I'm doing, say, a pumpkin in a over-dye thread, I'll stitch coming down like this to get the veining in the pumpkin, and then eventually
one
fill it in.
row after another.
Right, kind of curve it out to the curve of the pumpkin, so that it doesn't look striped. It just gives it dimension and shape of the pumpkin.
Now the interesting thing is, though, because I was asking her about how she stitches, right? And you said even with variegated floss, fancy floss, I'm like, do you do the X's each one? She goes, no. So she travels back and forth the length of her row or whatever the area, and you still get really beautiful variegation. So I think Nicole does that as well. Nicole Needleworks, she doesn't do the X's in one. She goes back and forth.
Right. And it often depends how the color is. Like if there's just a small blob of a darker area, I might finish that stitch right then. But I just kind of play with it, and you really can manipulate the threads to a very desirable effect.
Yep.
So
great. Okay, and so we were on a grand adventure. I want to talk about that a little bit. And she said there was a great antique mall down the street that she had not been to yet. Well, she went quickly but didn't have enough time. So I'm like,
with my husband one time.
Right. So I said, oh, the poor man came with us yesterday. He deserves a medal and other nice things.
We were there for hours.
6 hours. We didn't even get the whole mall done. And we brought our little cart was filled with treasures. I mean, just filled. Actually, I have a giveaway that I'll bring in just a second. But so there was this one thing that we wanted to show. And
I'm not quite sure what it is.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. But I held up this bag and I showed, there goes that. I told Lisa, I said, oh, look, it's like tatting, because that's what it said on the bag. And it was this bag, but in it, I'll put it in. So it looked like this.
For $15.
Right, $15. And I was like, I don't know what this is, and I was just looking at it interested, and she's like, what's in the walnut? So I'm like, I don't know, what is in the walnut? What is in the walnut? So I pulled the walnut out. So you can see the little walnut egg, right?
Oh, walnut egg.
What?
A little walnut egg.
Looks like an egg. Anyway, so yeah, shell. And then I opened it up and I went, oh! And I showed it to her, and it's lined.
And a thimble
There's
case.
a little thimble in there. Isn't that fun? So that was one of the fun things we we found. Now, again, did you already ask? Like, we don't know what this is,
I don't
actually.
know what this...
So it's
I can take it out of the
Yeah,
bag.
okay.
So this
And then we'll
came
get
with the fun walnut. I was so excited. I think I like.
Moly. Oh, there's all the.
I think I like shouted out when I saw that walnut. But anyway, this came with other things. Hang on, I need to pick them off the floor. It came with a little hook. It looks like a plastic hook. A bone hook. That's another bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And another little metal crochet hook.
And a little wooden one. Did you show
I
that
did
one?
show the wooden one. But I'm not quite sure. I don't think this is tatting. It just kind of popped out of my head that it might be something called hairpin lace. I'm not really sure. So if anybody knows what this is or how to do it, please leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a message.
What this is.
I mean, leave a comment.
What this is. I'm not really quite sure. It looks like someone was learning on this side with using yarn and then went on to use something, this pearl cotton, perline, Wonder Art perline.
It's old.
That sounds old.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't heard perline in a long time. Didn't Perline used to be people's names?
Yeah, right. Your aunt's name.
Right. My old aunt Perline. So anyway,
yes, we did a lot of damage yesterday.
We had a blast, and my husband, he texted me and he's like, "Where are you guys?" So I found him, and I said, "If you really need to leave and come back, you can." So he went to the hardware store and then came back, and he still couldn't believe that we weren't like cashed out and waiting for him.
We weren't done yet.
And he sat even longer. And then the look on his face
as
when
we
he
rounded
the corner with this buggy, it was kind of like a cart that could hold 2 hand baskets.
Right.
And we had it filled and stacked. I mean,
and I kept saying, I have to carry this home. And she's like, I can send it to you. I'm like,
flat rate postage.
That's not the point. I know.
Flat rate postage.
I don't know how I'm going to get all this home. And she was like, you have to buy that. You have to buy that. That is a great price. I have one, and it's not even in that great a shape as yours, this one. And so, she had me a couple times. I'm like, okay, but it's, some bulky items, which I will show in another video. But we grabbed a little, so we found this place that one booth had a lot of...
my husband, when he found us, he said, is this as far as you've gotten? The first time he found us, and we said, yeah, we haven't seen hardly anything yet. And he's like, flat, no expression. Well, did you see the samplers? We're like, what? Samplers? Where are they?
We, ran after him on the buggy, and he told me in German, he goes, they're not cheap. I'm like, we don't care. So we went and looked at, she had a couple of very, very fine and interesting samplers. And you want to take it from there, or no, you're going to keep it to yourself?
I'm thinking about another one, so I'm not going to say
anything. All right. Yeah. No, we're not going to reveal who had the samplers. But yeah, so it was fun looking at those, and there were a couple that we just kind of hyperventilated over a little bit. But she also had a lot of spools. Mm-hmm. And so we picked up some spools, but one of the really cute little spools is these little beehive spools. And Lisa said that people set them down like this and put their scissors in because it's holds their scissors. So we wanted to give one away in honor of our fabulous day yesterday. So just leave a comment. Friendship. Let's talk about friendship.
Aww. Gonna miss this girl.
Yeah. But she's threatening to come see me over Thanksgiving. So she said if she can't, so her daughter is in Germany. She's further north in Hamburg, and
she's not military or anything.
Yeah. So because currently I think they're going to open up Europe, but and I don't know if it's opened up yet to vaccinated people, but during the last winter, nobody could come. So if it's going to be that way again, then she said, I'm going to come down to Texas. I'm like, absolutely, because we're planning to come over for Thanksgiving. And I said, absolutely, we'll rack and stack everybody in the house. It'll work some way, and we're just going to have a really great time and a big old family dinner.
If we can't get to Germany.
Right, if she can't get to Germany. If she does go to Germany, I mean, she's in the same boat as I am.
I haven't seen my daughter since Christmas of 19.
Right.
We do Zoom calls and things like that.
But it's not the same.
No,
it's not the same. So we were looking at dates, like when is she going, and when am I going to be over here? And we were literally flying past each other.
Right.
Yeah, I'll look out and wave. It's like, there she goes.
That's right. Over the sea.
Oh, so sad. So I really hope that you do get to go.
I do too.
But the other part of me hopes that we'll see you down in Texas.
We'll catch up.
But
we'll catch
if
up.
not, yes, absolutely. So, friendship. And I will send out this little fabulous spool, beehive spool.
So
I think
cute.
it's
Lots
called.
of things
so
you can do with it.
it's just darling. So it looks like a little Christmas tree, I think.
You can even decorate that in some way to put it as a little accessory with your Christmas sewing set.
There you go. For those that have that.
Or want to make one.
Right. All right, friends. Well, it's been fabulous.
It's been so great.
I'm
not going to say goodbye tomorrow. I'll say, see you soon.
Auf Wiedersehen.
That's right.
In
Auf
German.
Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. That means until we see each other again. So we're going to say Auf Wiedersehen right now.
Auf Wiedersehen.
And I'm going to tell you guys, stay happy, healthy, and terrific until, we Auf Wiedersehen each other.
Keep on stitching.
Yeah, and keep on stitching. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.